Hello, television family. We have gathered once again in front of the warmth of our high-definition televisions, our computer screens, or whatever the case may be, for another edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. 6th day of May, 2025. According to my calendar, that makes it a Tuesday. And it's a Tuesday. And it's a very pleasant one indeed, and the hits just keep on coming. We're at 48 degrees right now. We'll be warmer than yesterday by a few degrees, topped off at 73. On Monday with a nice light breeze. It was just gorgeous. A little bit warmer today. Ridge of high pressure is running the show right now. Warmer still. Wednesday night. Cold front comes in over the top of the ridge of high pressure. Going to give us a few high clouds. Going to make us breezy. Going to cool us down a little bit for Thursday. And then we go right back up again on Friday, Saturday, and right on into Sunday. Lots and lots of sunshine. No rain in the forecast. Very dry air. Our relative humidity bottomed out at 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon at 14%. There are deserts in the Middle East that have more relative humidity than that. It's been extremely dry air. And needless to say, dry air, warm temperatures, very little rain. A little worried about grass fires that may pop up out in the Columbia Basin, because you're going to have a little bit of wind out in the Columbia Basin. We're not going to have any wind down here. That all-important forecast, which is sunny and nice. Coming up, news. Well, news is neither sunny for the most part. It's just the news. It's what's going on. We'll have that for you as well. A lot of sports to get to. The smaller schools are already into the spring playoff season. We're talking about soccer and baseball. The bigger schools still have another week of their regular season to go. Mariners, tough loss. They lost 2 in a row. They haven't done that since like early April. We'll have highlights of the Athletics and the Mariners. Back half of the program, we visited with our friend Kelsey Riggs of Wenatchee Pride. The Wenatchee Pride Festival is coming up on Saturday, June 21st. You want to sponsor, you want to be a vendor, you want to volunteer, you want to entertain the folks. We'll talk about all that stuff with Kelsey Riggs from Wenatchee Pride in the back half of the program. We filmed it at the park yesterday, because that's where it's going to be at, Memorial Park, just 2 blocks away from where we are. And we also got to see them take down the rest of the gear and wrap up the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. Kind of a little depressing, to be honest with you, now that the party is over. So anyway, we've got a jam-packed program. It's one of those scenarios that happens occasionally. We have 5 pounds worth of programming in a 4-pound bag to get it in, but we'll do it. And we'll start out with our cameras, because quite frankly, who's kidding who? It's the highlight of the show. I believe I see a high cloud up there. Sunrise this morning, 5:36. Sunset tonight, 8:20. 14 hours and 44 minutes. We're gaining about 2.5 minutes of daylight now a day. Of course, about a month ago, we were getting about 3.5 minutes of additional daylight each day. Days are getting longer, just not quite as dramatic. But that is a beautiful shot. And the hillsides are starting to brown up just a little bit. Of course, all the snow is gone from basically about 5,000 feet and below, about 5,000 feet to the top, to the summits. There's still some snow melt to be had. Camera number 2 takes us back to monitor. Again, this gives you an idea of the longer days. We showed you this camera yesterday and the day before that, and Friday and Thursday of last week, and those shadows that you see weren't quite as persuasive as they are now up in the monitor area. Hello, monitor. Keep on growing, you orchards. You're doing just fine. And hello to Kashmir out in the distance. Our third camera will take us to Lake Aniat, and our Arrondo Rock camera. Are those boats out there? Is that a buoy? I don't know what that is. Zoom back quite a bit. It makes because it's just a reservoir behind Rocky Reach Dam, you can't see any of the flow of the Columbia River. It looks as placid as a lake. And of course, right smack dab in the middle of your screen, Turtle Rock. They call it Turtle Rock because it's a giant rock. Also, a lot of rattlesnakes live there too, as I found out about 20 years ago. And camera 4, up to Billy Goat with a whole swath of real estate. Looks like maybe, I don't know if it's we have bright lights in the studio and the monitor's kind of far away and I need to wear my glasses more often, but it looks like maybe they're browning up a little bit too in the hills up in the Pateras, Brewster, Bridgeport area. They haven't had a lot of rain either. Good morning, Omak. You're at 44 degrees. Right now, you're the cool spot in our area. Wenatchee's sitting pretty at 48. It's Tuesday. We always check in with the Climate Prediction Center, time allowed. And today we do have the time allotment from the Climate Prediction Center, the long-term forecast. This takes us from May 11th, which is this Sunday, to May 15th, which is the middle of the month. This is Sunday to Thursday, and it looks like we're going to have about normal temperatures, or normal high temperatures, about 70 this time of the year. It'll be up to about 72 by this time next week. So it looks like about a 50-50 chance of just normal temperatures, all for it, and about a 50-50 chance of normal precipitation, maybe a little bit more, maybe about a 60% chance of precipitation. The precipitation slide is the same time period as the temperature slide. This is May 11th through the 15th, next Sunday to Thursday. I think we had that. There it is, the temperature outlook. It looks like Northern California, Southern Oregon is going to get a little bit of rain. By the way, it's supposed to snow a lot in the Rockies today. Go figure that out. So anyway, all things considered, looks like fairly average, maybe a little bit more precipitation in the forecast. Temperatures about normal for this time of the year from the Climate Prediction Center, who are pretty good at doing this. I don't know how they do it, but they do it a lot better than I do. I always go with the experts. If I don't know, I ask somebody who does. It's just common sense. From the National Weather Service, here we go. Warm and very dry conditions continue today with really low relative humidity, about 74 for our high today. Yesterday we hit 73. Good. So 74 is at least going to be where we're at. We could be even warmer than that. 50 for the overnight low tonight. We'll be kissing 80 or getting awful close to it on Wednesday. It looks really good. And then Wednesday night, as I mentioned before, a cold front is going to come bumping in. It's going to move the high pressure ridge slightly off to the east on Wednesday, and that's going to cool us down. We're going to have a little bit of wind Wednesday night as the system comes in. And then Thursday, you'll notice a few more high clouds on Thursday, but no real wind during the day. It's just going to cool us down a little bit. And then the high pressure goes right back where it was. Friday, mid-70s. Saturday, how about that? 81 on Saturday. It's about as perfect as it can be. Manson has their annual Apple Blossom Festival this weekend, and the weather's going to be perfect up there. And then a slight cool down on Sunday and Monday. The one thing you don't see on any of those graphics, clouds or rain, because there is no clouds and there is no rain for the foreseeable future. This is a long stretch of pretty nice weather, all things considered. Outside of the Saturday of the Apple Blossom Festival, where we had high overcast conditions, we've had nothing but sunshine for about 2 weeks now. I'm all for that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the headlines on this Tuesday morning. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Central Washington Water is home to the Hot Spring Spa for over 45 years. Come see the Freshwater Smart IQ. It monitors your saltwater spa's pH balance, chlorine, and more. Or the cold plunge tub that will leave you feeling rejuvenated. Plug-and-play spas make hot tubbing easy. With great financing available, cold water, salt water, hot water, Central Washington Water has a spa for your budget and your lifestyle. Stop by today.
Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. Tour moseslake.com and start your adventure today.
48 degrees, lots of sunshine today, at least in the mid-70s, upper 70s on Wednesday. It'll be a little breezy on Wednesday night. We'll cool things down quite a bit on Thursday. Then we go right back up the temperature ladder just in time for the weekend. The weekend looks just gorgeous, but we got to get there first. 10 minutes after the hour, the Manson Apple Blossom Festival float took home the big prize during the Steel Mill Growers Grand Parade on Saturday. Their Legends of the Lake float was the Grand Sweepstakes Award winner among all the parade entries. More than 100 parade entries made their way down Orondo Avenue and across and then down Wenatchee Avenue for the big parade. If you missed the parade, by the way, or you want to relive it all over again, the parade, our coverage of it is on our website and on our YouTube page and on our Facebook page. You can check it out. That parade, of course, capped off our 11-day party known as the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival, and then the Manson Apple Blossom Festival will take center stage this weekend, May 9th and 10th, in their grand parade downtown Manson at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Candidates seeking elected office began filing statewide yesterday for the August 5th primary, hoping, I suppose, to move on to the November 4th general election. There are a number of open seats on school boards and city councils in our area this year. In East Wenatchee, seats held by Jacob Burkhart and Jason Hines are open on the Eastmont School Board, as are city council positions currently held by Lacey Stockton, Matthew Hepner, and Rob Tidd. Seats on the Wenatchee School Board held by Julie Norton, Martin Barron, and Mark Belton. They're all up for re-election this year. Wenatchee City Council positions held by Chelsea Ewer, Myra Navarra Gomez, and Top Roja Hasti, and also open. Those interested in running for office, you have to be a registered voter. You have to live in the district in which you choose to run, and you have until Friday, May 9th at 5 o'clock to get registered. A Superior Court judge for Okanogan County is stepping down in order to run for mayor of Winthrop. Judge Robert Grimm has sat on the Superior Court bench since 2022. He was appointed by Governor Jay Inslee. He previously served as a district court judge and a private practice attorney. In his resignation letter to Governor Bob Ferguson, Grimm says he will campaign for the mayor's seat in Winthrop, where Mayor Sally Ranzow was not running for a third term. He's a Winthrop native, graduated from Liberty Bell High School in 2003. Grimm says his resignation from the court will become effective on July 1st. The Grant County Board of Health is urging the federal government to maintain the Medicaid funding that 42% of Grant County residents rely on. President Donald Trump and congressional Republicans have proposed up to $880 billion in cuts to the public health insurance program. Recipients whose benefits could be damaged include roughly 1.8 million people in our state. The program here is known as Apple Health. The County Health Board passed a resolution last month urging federal lawmakers, and I'm quoting now, to preserve and sustain Medicaid funding to the extent possible without unreasonable cuts or caps to structural changes, end quote. Apple Health is disproportionately used by residents in Washington's rural counties, 37% of Chelan County citizens and 35% in Douglas County. Priests, rabbis, and other religious leaders in Washington will soon become mandatory reporters of child abuse under legislation signed into law on Friday morning. Governor Bob Ferguson signed Senate Bill 5375, and that requires members of the clergy to tell police if they suspect any harm has been done to a child. Doctors have to do that now, as do teachers and other professions. A report is required even if a minister learns of abuse during a confession or other sacred confidence, but it doesn't compel clergy to testify in court. The bill was driven by sexual abuse survivors and Catholic and Jehovah's Witnesses faiths asking the state to close a loophole that allowed abuse to go unreported.
My uncle was a Jesuit priest for many years, been in confession myself, and so I'm very familiar with that. But no, I felt this was important legislation, and protecting kids is first priority.
It really said the church is not above the law. No one is above the law, especially when it comes to protecting children. And that was a big win also.
And John Weiss has been reappointed as State Director of the Farm Service Agency of Washington. It's his third go-round. Weiss was first appointed to the position in 2019 under the first Trump administration. He was later reappointed in 2022 under the Biden administration. Before beginning his work as state director, Weiss worked as an analyst and governmental affairs director at Gebers Farms, his wife's family's company. He also served as Spokane County's chief deputy assessor and temporarily served as a state senator for the 6th legislative district. That's the news at quarter after the hour. The news tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Grant Olson in the anchor chair. He also handles the weather forecast, and he does both better than me. And Eric Grandstrom with sports, the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. If that doesn't fit into your television watching schedule, and people are busy, we know, don't worry, the news will be up and running. You can watch it whenever you want, starting at 5 o'clock every Monday through Friday by going to our homepage, NCWLIFE.com, our YouTube page, and our Facebook page. And if you have a news tip, and we've gotten some pretty significant stories by hearing from you, our viewers, don't hesitate. Send us an email, news@NCWLIFE.com. Tough loss for the Mariners last night, but highlights are highlights, and we'll show them when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
The Surf and Slide Water Park is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Surf and Slide is located in the heart of Central Washington in Moses Lake with activities for all ages and abilities. Check out Surf and Slide's Flow Rider Surfing Simulator, Lazy River, 2 200-foot water slides, tube slides, and diving boards. Our children's area includes a Treasure Island water structure, splash pad, and baby octopus slide. For season passes, visit us online or find Surf and Slide on Facebook.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. It's time to enjoy one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCWLIFE. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
Sports at 18 minutes after the hour. Mariners lost back-to-back games for the first time in about a month. Jacob Wilson was a one-man wrecking crew. He drove home the winning run in the 11th inning. The A's beat the Mariners 7-6 last night in the opener of the three-game series between the first-place team in the American League West and the second-place team in the American League West. Jacob Wilson finished with 3 hits and 3 RBIs, including a tying base hit against Mariner closer Andres Munoz that led off the 10th.
On a 1-1. Little inside out ground ball into shallow left field. Thomas rounds third base, sprints home, and he scores standing. Jorge Polanco drives in another run for the Mariners. It's 2-1 A's in the third inning. Big bouncer, and it's over the leap at first base of Kurtz into right field. Crawford is in. Polanco being held. Rowdy Tellez brings home the tying run of the third inning. Were you saying something about a bouncy infield earlier?
I was. I did mention this bouncy infield. Every single ball down there in right field playing very big here because every single guy, including one of our favorites, Rowdy Tellez, gets into second base.
center field. Go ahead base hit. Mastroboni. Polanco scores. And the Mariners take a 3-2 lead. This is into center. Dropping. Base hit. Ben Williamson. Tellez scores. The Mariners push their 4th run across the plate in the 3rd inning.
2 to Langoliers. That's lifted in deep left field. Mastroboni moving back at the track, at the wall. That ball is gone. 4-3. The Athletics back into it. A Langoliers home run, his 7th of the year.
And we knew the wind was going to play a factor. This fastball starts to creep back over the plate. And the man they call Bangaliers able to put a swing on it, and this lands just on the other side of that Toyota sign.
1-0 pitch, grounded hard down the first base line. It's fair. Kurtz comes in to score. Urias to third base. Butler evens the score. It's 4-4. Rooker at third, Soderstrom at first. In a 4-4 game. 0-1 pitch. Line drive to right field. Thomas breaks back. He'll make the catch. Rooker will come in to score, and the A's have a 5-4 lead. ABC baseball at its finest, Dallas. And back in front are the green and gold in the 7th.
Take care of the little things. And Duhart and Langoliers both coming up with big productive outs.
1-0. Little inside out flare. Dropping, base hit. Calarali sprints home. He scores standing. Ben Williamson ties the game in the 8th inning.
How many times are we going to see Ben Williamson do this? And I hope he doesn't stop. He is such a fun hitter. I mean, this is literally second verse, same as the first. Inside out swing, doesn't hit it hard, but finds grass.
2-2. Not especially deep. Soderstrom in left field. Calarali's on his way home. Throw up the line, and the Mariners have taken the lead on the shortest sac fly you might see all year. Miles Mastroboni gets it done and puts the Mariners in front in the 10th inning.
First pitch to Wilson is grounded through for a base hit. He's getting the windmill home. Blade is going to score. Tie game in the bottom of the 10th.
Right on time. You see where they want it. They want it elevated. Munoz obliges, but that's Jacob Wilson up there, folks. He just simply does not swing and miss. You can see the defense sort of shaded over on that right side, trying to close every bit of a hole over there unsuccessfully. Looking for a ball in play? Sure, Jacob Wilson's your guy. The problem is this baseball more than likely is going to find a hole with the way that he approaches the game.
0-2 pitch back up the middle, a base hit. Wilson does it again. The savior in Sacramento. Chaos in the capital city, and the A's win 7-6.
Willie walk-off strikes again. That is the 3rd career walk-off knock for Jacob Wilson, already the 2nd of the season.
Well, if the Mariners hope to win their 9th consecutive series, they need to win tonight. Emerson Hancock will take on Jeffrey Springs. First pitch on Root Sports is at 7:05. Monday in Major League Baseball is pretty light. There's just a couple of games with teams involved with the American League West. There's the Athletics beating the Mariners in 11 innings. The Brewers took care of the Astros. Thanks, Milwaukee. The final there was 5-1. The M's lead over the A's is now 1 game. All right, to prep goes. Here we go. It's already District 5 2A soccer playoffs. So it's the 2nd round right now. This is a loser-out game. East Valley will travel to Quincy at the Jackrabbit Field, 5 o'clock. And again, the loser of that game, their season comes to an end. Prep soccer for the smaller schools, District 5 and 6, the combined 1A district tournament. All of these games are loser out. So you got to win your match or you're done for the year. Liberty Bell gets things going. They travel up to Wapato, or down to Wapato, I should say. 4 o'clock there. 4:30 on the pitch. Okanagan welcomes Cashmere into town. Brewster will host College Place at 5. And then at 6 o'clock tonight, it's Chelan at Highland, Manson at Royal, Warden at Cascade, and Connell at Bridgeport. And again, these are all loser out soccer matches. For the bigger schools, it's the last week of the regular season. Eisenhower will take on Moses Lake at 6 o'clock, and Eastmont welcomes their rivals, the Wenatchee Panthers, to the east side of the river. They'll go at 7 o'clock tonight. Prep baseball schedule. Again, they're already into the playoffs in the District 5 2A tournament. Ephrata travels to Toppenish. First pitch at 4:30. Prosser welcomes Quincy to town at 4:30. In the 1A District 5 and 6 combined tournament, Zilla is at Chelan at 4 o'clock. Omak will be at Natchez Valley at 4 o'clock, and Connell travels to Cashmere at 4:30. For the bigger schools, some of them are still in the regular season. So for instance, Wenatchee. West Valley leads the Big Nine by 3 games with 3 games to play. Second place is Wenatchee, and these two teams will play each other 3 times this week. 1 game today and then a doubleheader on Friday. So the Panthers, if they sweep West Valley, will split the Big Nine regular season title. Moses Lake will host Eastmont at 5 o'clock tonight. Manson's at Tenasket at 4:30. Lake Roosevelt at Brewster at 4:30. One prep softball score to pass along in a non-leaguer yesterday. Moses Lake, just to keep themselves fresh for the playoffs, they took on Othello and they beat them 10-2. Prep softball schedule today, not a lot to talk about. Bridgeport will be at Brewster at 4:30, and Okanagan welcomes Liberty Bell at 4:30. And Haley Van Lith made her WNBA debut Saturday with the Chicago Sky. Chicago played against Brazil. It was a preseason game in Baton Rouge at LSU's facility. Of course, Angel Reese won a national championship with the Tigers and was side-by-side with Van Lith for a season. Haley didn't see the floor until the second half, but when she came into the game, she made an immediate impact.
Allie Wilson and Rebecca Allen on the floor as well for the Sky. Van Lith on the drive, got aggressive and one for Haley Van Lith. Her first preseason WNBA bucket. Wenatchee now up ahead to Thaisa Queros. Guarded by Wilson down low. Berajau's pass knocked out of the air by Williams. Now back comes Van Lith, running with Williams. She'll slow it up, drop it off to the fellow rookie in Westbeld, and one for Maddie Westbeld. Her first preseason WNBA bucket.
Haley Van Lith is not backing down from the challenge of defending her player one-on-one.
Out of Memphis. Van Lith the board. Sky up 23. Bowler checking in and getting aggressive. Van Lith gonna touch it last. 89-62, the Sky win it in Baton Rouge.
Haley finished, by the way, with 7 points and 5 assists. And by the way, she'll make her debut in front of the home fans in Chicago tonight. Go Haley. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 27 minutes after the hour. The following obscure holidays you can celebrate today or not. Today is International No Diet Day. Today is National Beverage Day. That's a big holiday. National Crepe Suzette Day. It's been a while since I've had one of those. National Foster Care Day. It's National No Homework Day. And as any of my teachers will tell you, that was pretty much every day. But no, today is National Nurses Day, which actually begins National Nurses Week, which begins on May 6th and runs through May 12th. May 12th is the birthday of Florence Nightingale. So we love our nurses, and who's kidding who? And for whatever reason, if you're hospitalized or you're just doing a regular doctor's appointment, nurses are doing things now that doctors were doing not that long ago. They're good. Famous people who were once nurses. Actresses Bonnie Hunt, Julie Walters, and Jennifer Stone. They were all nurses at one point, as was Tina Turner and Naomi Judd. And the country singer Paul Brandt used to be a registered nurse. National Nurses Day today. Thank you, nurses. And do what they tell you to do. It's just about 29 minutes after the hour. Today in history. Babe Ruth. Somebody somewhere probably should have taken a picture, but who would have known that when Babe Ruth, who was in a picture for the Boston Red Sox, would hit his first major league home run on this date, May 6th, 1915. That's 110 years ago. Nobody bothered to take a picture. He was a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, which means Babe Ruth only played every 4 days. They didn't really think the guy had such a great bat that maybe on days when he's not pitching, we should put Babe Ruth out of the field so we can get his bat in the lineup. It took the Red Sox about 4 years to figure that out. And ironically enough, Babe Ruth's first major league home run was at the Polo Grounds against the New York Yankees. This is probably the first example of a viral video, even though it's not a video, it's a film, and it's 88 years old. It was on this date in 1937 that the Hindenburg, the German Zeppelin, catches fire and is destroyed within a minute while attempting to dock at Lakehurst, New Jersey, just across the river from New York City. Of the 97 people on board, 35 are killed, with one additional fatality on the ground. And if you haven't seen this film before, here it is again.
It's starting to rain again. The rain had slacked up a little bit. The back motors of the ship are just holding it just enough to keep it from... It bursts into flames. Get it started, get it started. It's fighting, and it's rising. It's rising terrible. Oh my, get out of the way, please. It's burning, bursting into flames, and it's falling on the mooring mast and all the folks between it. This is terrible. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world. Oh, the spikes 400 or 500 feet into the sky, and it's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the flame is rising to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity and all the fans are just screaming around here. I told you, I can't even talk to people. There's friends around there. I can't talk, ladies and gentlemen. Honest, it's just laying down massive smoking wreckage. And everybody can't hardly breathe and talk and screaming. Lady, I'm sorry. Honestly, I can hardly breathe. I'm going to step inside where I cannot see it. Charlie, that's terrible. Listen, folks, I'm going to have to stop for a minute because I've lost the voice. This is the worst thing I've ever witnessed.
It's amazing when you think about it. Of the 97 people on board, only 35 actually died. And by the way, even though there are about a dozen different scenarios and theories about what may have happened, the actual cause of the Hindenburg disaster was never definitively determined. 71 years ago today, May 6, 1954, it finally happened. After knocking on the door for about 6 months, Roger Bannister of Great Britain becomes the very first person to run the mile in under 4 minutes. I have some interesting stats about running the mile in under 4 minutes, but first, here's how it unfolded.
3/4 of a mile, the effort was still barely perceptible. The time was 3 minutes, 0.7 seconds, and by now the crowd was roaring. A 4-minute mile was possible. Somehow, to do it, I had to run the last lap in 59 seconds. Chataway led round the next bend, and then I pounced past him at the beginning of the back straight, 300 yards from the finish. I had a moment of mixed joy and anguish when my mind took over. It raced well ahead of my body and drew me compellingly forward. I felt that the moment of a lifetime had come. Those last few seconds seemed never-ending. A faint line of the finishing tape stood ahead as a haven of peace after the struggle. I leapt at the tape, like a man taking his last spring to save himself from the chasm that threatens to engulf him.
There were actually those who said running a mile in under 4 minutes was physically impossible. Roger Bannister proved that wrong. By the way, he held the record for all of 5 weeks. The mile record has since been lowered by 16 seconds. In fact, the 4-minute barrier has been broken by 1,755 different athletes. No woman has ever run the mile in under 4 minutes, but it's probably just a matter of time. And on this date, 31 years ago today, May 6, 1994, for the first time since the Ice Age, England and Europe were connected. Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom and the President of France, Francois Mitterrand, officiated at the opening of the Channel Tunnel, the Big Dig, and here it is.
The Queen started her historic journey from the new Channel Tunnel terminal at London's Waterloo Station, aboard one of the Eurostar passenger trains that will eventually whisk travellers from London to Paris and Brussels in around 3 hours. Today she was going only as far as Calais to meet the French President Francois Mitterrand. Her Majesty's train entered the tunnel at Folkestone to applause from those on board. Emerging half an hour later in France, where the President's train was waiting at the platform in Calais. Safety normally precludes two trains travelling on the same line in opposite directions, but today the French and British locomotives came to rest nose to nose, feet apart. Welcomed by her host, the Queen joined President Mitterrand in simultaneously cutting a ribbon officially opening the Under-Channel link. The project a year behind schedule and costing twice the original estimate of nearly £5 billion.
In case you're curious, the Queen's luggage ended up in Portugal. Happy anniversary to the Channel. And let's do some birthdays, some heavenly birthdays. The father of psychoanalysis. I try to read some of his stuff and his thoughts and his theories. It's way beyond my comprehension, but Sigmund Freud was a lot smarter than I was. And his theories still hold up today, so I'm told. Sigmund Freud, born in the state in 1856, died at the age of 83 in 1939. Robert Peary, who was born in the state in 1856, claimed to be the first one to reach the North Pole. In April of 1909, most historians agree that he probably didn't, but he, made a lot of money doing it. Robert Peary, born in the state in 1856. Many people consider this guy the greatest director of all time, Orson Welles. Of course, Citizen Kane, The Magnificent Ambersons, many, many other movies. The great Orson Welles, born in the state in 1915. We lost Willie Mays last year at the age of 83. He died just about a year ago. The Say Hey Kid. 302 batting average, 3,283 hits, 660 home runs, 1,903 RBIs. He is fifth all-time in WAR, wins above replacement, and was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility back in 1979. The Say Hey Kid, born in the state in 1931. Happy 80th birthday to Bob Seger. Why it took him so long to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is one of the great crimes in modern music history. He wasn't inducted until 2012, even though he'd been eligible for a long time. The great Bob Seger, never far from my turntable. He's now pretty much fully retired. He shows up every once in a while and does a little gig now and again, or a guest vocalist, but Bob is enjoying retirement, and he should. He's 80 years old. And George Clooney is 64, and he has this unique claim to fame. George Clooney has been nominated for Academy Awards in 6 different categories. 6 different categories. That's a record he shares with Walt Disney. George Clooney is 64 years old today. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For the first time since probably September, I have my air conditioning on for a couple of days last week, and I'll have the air conditioning on today, certainly tomorrow, and then again for the weekend. We'll be right back up in the 80s. Don't forget, you can't just hope that your HVAC system will switch by itself from heat to air and work properly and efficiently. If you're not too sure that it's going to do that, you get a hold of Alpine Air so they can go out and take a look. It's still not too late to get a tune-up before the real heat comes. All right, going to take a break. When we come back, Mike Mad Dog Magnotti has an opinion, and even though the Wenatchee Pride Festival isn't until June 21st, they could use some sponsors and some vendors and some entertainment and some volunteers. Kelsey Riggs from Wenatchee Pride will join me when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
Braden, we talked about lifestyle investor. Where does one even begin that process? Because it seems to me that there's, again, you don't want to put everything in one bucket or you're just hoping for the best. It's basically gambling with your money. How does one begin the process of becoming a lifestyle investor?
Well, I think we have a process, we call it prosperity planning, and one of the meetings that we have when we're going through like a full fee-based financial planning process is we have that thing called a clarity experience. And so we're going to sit down with our clients, and we're not just going to go through an investor calculation on risk or an investor profile like you'd say, like most advisors or investment advisors would do. We're actually going to go into morals, values. What was the relationship of your mom and dad? How did they deal with their money? What do you want 3 generations after you? What do you want the money situation, the business situation, the life situation of your kids? What do you want that to look like? And that all goes into, you know, morals and values, and are we crystallizing those goals and objectives at a really, really high level? Do you want to just transfer valuables, or do you want to transfer values? You have to go into it at a deeper level when you go into really in-depth generational planning. And that's what we do with our clients, is we have that clarity experience. And so once we get that clarity experience and we understand what is valuable and what they want to accomplish, we can align the money really, really easy. Once we know this, we can align this really, really easy. And a lot of times it's done backwards. So we'd like to start here with that clarity experience.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, located in East Wenatchee, offers terrific views and challenging play for golfers at every skill level. From the golf course to the grill, you don't need to be a member to dine in style and play golf too. Highlander's well-groomed fairways and greens keep it difficult, yet friendly for your regular rounds of golf or a new destination for you and your out-of-town friends. Contact the Highlander Pro Shop today to schedule your tee time, outing, or tournament. Open 7 days a week, where everyone is welcome to play and eat.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, my first real job was an usher in a movie theater, the Park Theater, Caldwell, New Jersey. Oh man, I love that job. And I do love the movies. A good plot, strong characters, and cool special effects. Special effects, if they're believable, I love that stuff. But you know what's often better, just as good as a movie in its own way, is live theater. Watching real humans in real time play out lives and joys and tragedies, or a good comedy that just smacks your belly in the tummy so your tummy aches from laughing so much. And as for many of us, a good musical, well, that's not too schmaltzy, where you can just sit back and let the music wash over you. You know, I'm often surprised when I'm doing a show and talking about it by the number of people here locally who have never experienced good live theater. Are you one of them? Think about it. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Right now at Les Schwab Tires, it's the Best for Less sales event. Save up to $120 instantly on a set of 4 tires. Choose from a wide selection of our longest-lasting, best-performing tires, and every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty. With a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. It's our best deal on our best tires, with the best service in the business. Get more from less.
Celebrate this great country during Rockfest in Rock Island the last Saturday in June. Great music, great bands, great fun. It all happens at the Rock Island Golf Course. Mark your calendars and be prepared for family fun entertainment and live music until the fireworks start crackling. Contact info@rlstalent.com if you would like to help sponsor this event or bring your awesome food truck. Space is limited. Rockfest at the Rock Island Golf Course, June 28th.
Welcome to Boswell's, where you'll find quality furnishings for every room in your home. Customers ask, do you have solid wood options? Yes, they do. Bamboo, maple, acacia, cherry, mahogany. With 2 floors of quality furniture and complimentary design services, Boswell's design team can create a home that's uniquely yours. For almost a century, people have chosen Boswell's for their quality and customer service. Boswell's Furniture, it's closer than you think.
Hey there folks, Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to Blueberry Hills to experience some real treats. Take a look at our homemade cream pies, our amazing cheesecakes, and don't forget our famous banana pudding. Remember, we're more than just great treats. People come from all over the world to experience what has been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
Welcome back to the program. It is the day after the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival wraps up. As you can see behind us, they're tearing things down. And then in the 20th or so of June, they're going to do it all over again on an entirely different festival. It is back, the Wenatchee Pride Festival for 2025 on the 21st day of June of this year. And once again, joining me this year, as you did last year, Kelsey Riggs from Wenatchee Pride. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you, Dan?
It's good to see you. We're going to do a couple of interviews with Kelsey, one now and one closer to the event on the 21st. The reason that we're here now is that it's time for Kelsey and his organization to get you folks involved for sponsorships, for volunteering, to vending, to entertainment if you have any kind of talent, which leaves me out of the loop. First of all, it's good to see you. Let's recap last year's. Every year this event gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
It does.
The weather always cooperates.
It does.
Because it's late June and it's beautiful.
Right.
Recap last year's festival. Obviously it went well, or you wouldn't be doing it again.
Yeah, it went really, really well. Everybody really loved the entertainment. We had lots of sponsors, and we had close to like 80 vendors, and we're looking to get that again this year. Right now we have about 40, so there's plenty of room here in the park, and we're going to make it happen. So
anything new this year compared to 2024? All the favorites are back, including the aptly named Queer Garden, which I think is just hilarious.
Right.
But anything new, because you got to mix it up a little bit to get people to come back year after year. Anything new that we can look forward to this year?
You know, we're working on some stuff right now that we're not quite ready to announce, but yeah, we are working on some stuff that might make it a little bit new and exciting. But we're definitely going to be the same festival, doing the same things that we set out to do with the same mission and everything.
And the mission is simple: have fun, because it is a blast.
Right, yeah, and be representative of the queer community here in Wenatchee and the greater area. But yeah, just the same mission, same goals and everything.
If you don't want to have fun, then don't come. I guess that would be my advice. Kelsey, I'd be remiss, because I got to ask you this. I read about this in the Seattle Times a couple weeks ago. The Seattle Pride folks are having a difficult time now than they've had in years past getting corporate sponsors to write big fat checks to make their festival happen. They're feeling some pushback from what's going on in our nation's capital and the rolling back of DEI programs from the federal level.
Right.
Anything locally that applies to your organization for some of your big-pocketed, long-time sponsors? Are you getting any sort of resistance in that respect for maybe I'm not going to write you as big a check as I have in years past, stuff like that?
No. We actually on the local level have been really felt supported. I mean, we still have some sponsors that we're going to reach out to. I know that Confluence and CVCH are some of our biggest sponsors, and we're going to reach out to them. We have a really good working relationship with them. They've supported us for years now, and we really feel like it's important for the community to know that these organizations are here to help the community and support the community. So we really hope that they're going to be continuing to support us, and I believe that they will be.
As is the city of Wenatchee, who helps you through the permitting process and the insurance process and everything. It's easy for them to say, maybe.
No, the city has been actually very incredible. They've brought up some really good talking points about the current political climate and been willing to work with us. The city has been incredible, and they've been incredible in the past, and they're gonna. I really am happy to say that they're continuing to be just great.
You mentioned the current political climate. From a personal standpoint and from a Wenatchee Pride organizational standpoint, and you have a big organization, how you guys been doing the last, say, 100 days or so? Do you dread going to Facebook and your chats and everything on a daily basis?
There has been a huge uptick on the amount of just anger and hate that we're seeing in like the comment section, even news articles from different organizations. And I think that really people are encouraged to act that way, especially given the current political climate, whereas in the past, maybe it's always kind of been there, but now it's just kind of very upfront in your face, and it's disheartening. It's very disheartening.
they've been given permission to
Right.
be bigots and act that way.
Yeah.
From higher up.
They have been, and it's definitely reflected in our interactions, especially online.
But locally, you guys are hanging in there, okay?
Yeah, we're hanging in there. You know, we have a really great group here. We have a great community of queer people that are really willing to show up and say, you know, we're not going to take this, and just be representative of people here in the Valley. You know, like there's all kinds of people here, and you know, there isn't, and we all deserve to be here, and we all deserve to live here and enjoy our time here. So, no, on the local level, we're hanging in there.
Good. That's and the heterosexual community.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
If
Yeah.
it's a good time, I don't care who's putting it on. I'm showing up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and like, you know, everyone deserves their joy. And, you know, like that's the main goal of our Pride Fest is to like represent, our community here and just put joy out there.
Let's talk sponsorships. There are any number of levels available. All of this, by the way, on the Wenatchee Pride website, wenatcheepride.org. The big one for $10,000, you get your name above the title. And then,
Right,
then it
yeah,
goes down from there.
you know, like main song.
Yeah, talk about the
our
levels.
next tier is like our $5,000. I believe our tier after that is $2,000, and each tier has its own perks. I know that you get like free beer tickets and things like that for our queer garden, and obviously like the publicity and things like that is really good. You know, people want to know what organizations are here to support us, for just because it's super important. But yeah, there's varying tiers and levels, and even donating a small amount is helpful.
They use pretty much the same footprint that the Wenatchee, that the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival does. So there is a lot of room for a lot of vendors,
Yeah.
either to sell their ware or to set up a booth to talk about their organization or their business, food included. You have about 40 right now signed up?
Yeah.
So you got room for twice that at least?
Yeah, at least. There's definitely parts of the park we didn't even use last year that we could totally utilize. So, but we're hoping to at least get about the same, if not a little bit more.
Last year you brought in some pretty cool entertainment. You had some local folks doing their thing, but you
Yeah.
also had some folks from out of town coming in, because this does bring in a lot of folks from all over North Central Washington and elsewhere.
Right.
Because a lot of these Pride festivals are staggered, so everybody can go to whichever one that want to go to.
Yeah.
You got some entertainment coming, but local folks,
Yeah,
if you
like
carry
the
a tune or play an instrument, you're
Right,
welcome,
yeah,
right?
so the majority of our entertainments that we have reached out to and have been in contact with is local, and that's the goal, is to have local. But we do have some people that have offered from like Seattle. There's somebody from Missouri that wants to come in and do some, like a drag number and things like that. And then, I think that like our entertainment is going to be really good this year.
You're taking the entire week leading up to the 21st of June off from your work, and you work hard
Yeah.
enough as it is. I know that for a
Yeah.
fact, Kelsey. But volunteers, this doesn't happen. I mean,
Right,
this is not a one-man show.
No, it's not. I mean, like, even as president of Wenatchee Pride, I'm a volunteer. This isn't paid work that I do. This is just another job on top of my regular job. We have a decent amount of volunteers right now, but we could always use more. We'll probably put another call out on social media and send out like an email list. But volunteers is really how we make it work. We do a lot of like the legwork as far as reaching out to sponsors and entertainment and things like that. But volunteers is really like the bread and butter of how we operate.
What number of Pride Fest is this? I've lost track. I tried to do some research, and I said, I bet you
I
Kelsey knows.
believe that it is like the 6th or 7th. I know that there was the year 2020, we did not have one. But I believe this is like the 6th or 7th.
And it's continuing to grow, and that's the most
Yeah.
important thing, because you never know when you put these things on, regardless of what kind of festival or party it
Right.
is, whether it's going to get legs and continue to
Mhm.
grow. But this festival has.
Yeah, it definitely has. And hopefully it'll keep continuing to grow. You know, there's been talks about maybe doing a parade. There's been talks about maybe making it 2 days instead of 1. You know, this year, just thinking of capacity and things like that, we decided on 1 day. But in the future, it could be multiple days.
Again, it is on the 21st day of June, so you have plenty of time, folks, to volunteer, to sign up to set up a tent and be a vendor, entertainment, and of course the big sponsorships. Everybody gets something out of it, regardless of how much you really put into it or not. Because it's the Wenatchee Pride Festival, but it's for everybody.
Yeah,
That's
it's for
really the bottom
everybody.
line.
Yeah, it is. It's for everybody. It's good yeah, it's just representation, and it's good for people to come and experience like what we're trying to do for everybody.
Wenatchee continues to grow, continues to diversify. For the new folks here in the Wenatchee Valley, North Central Washington, how do they get involved with your organization? Say, I want to help you guys out, or I want to join.
They can reach out to us via social media. They can email us. Yeah, just contacting us directly is always a good idea. And everybody is always welcome to volunteer. Our volunteer sign up that we have for the Pride Festival isn't exclusive to just Pride Fest. You can volunteer for anything. But those are the main avenues that people reach out to us, and they're more than welcome to.
Again, everything we talked about is at WenatcheePride.org. That's correct, right?
Right.
WenatcheePride.org. Yeah. That's where I got my information from. Hang in there, my friend, and we're going to get together closer to the festival to make sure people don't miss out on what's become a really cool party.
Yeah.
And that's the best part about it all.
It is, yeah.
It is.
All right.
Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Yeah, anytime. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Great glorious spring, Wenatchee Valley. Collins Fashions is your go-to lady shopping experience in downtown Wenatchee. Special occasion dresses are arriving daily for moms, grandmothers, and friends and family. Sundresses, capris, tees, tanks, shorts, skirts hit the floor. Trusted quality brands such as Tribal, Charlie B, French Dressing Cut, and Liverpool. Comfy and cute sandals from Soft, Bueno, Volatile, Fly London, to name a few. Brighten Mother's Day with a gift from Collins in downtown Wenatchee.
It's the NCWLIFE Community Calendar, brought to you by the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Opening day for the Wenatchee Valley Farmers Market is Saturday, May 10th. Pick up your fresh, locally grown produce at the Wenatchee Valley Farmers Market every Saturday from 8 to 1. Early season favorites like asparagus, peas, radishes, potatoes, rhubarb, green beans, kale, plus starter plants, original arts and crafts, soaps, candles, plants, and lots of goodies to snack on.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
When you've been in business for 40 years, it's because you understand change and you put members first, always. Now Works is announcing a change in their membership model. Up to 6 people on one membership that you can mix and match. The more people, the bigger the discounts. Introducing the Works shared membership model. One membership, friends and family, and flexibility. Works, the cleanest, friendliest, most helpful gyms you and your friends will ever join.
52 degrees here in the big city. We've gone up 4 degrees since this show started at 7 o'clock. The warm spot right now is Ephrata. You're already at 55, but it's already real dry in Ephrata. Relative humidity, and it's barely 8 o'clock, is only 38%. I mentioned this at the start of the show. Relative humidity in the Wenatchee Valley went down to 14%. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Not only has it been very mild weather with lots of sunshine and no precipitation, but the relative humidity has been extremely parched. It's been dry as anybody can remember from the National Weather Service. It's an interesting phenomenon, to say the least. It looks like this pattern is going to continue. The Climate Prediction Center is predicting, starting on Monday and going through Thursday of next week, that we will see temperatures about normal. Now, our normal high this time of the year is 69. By the time this kicks in, again, this takes us from Sunday of this week to Thursday of next week, the 11th to the 15th. It looks like we're going to have about normal temperatures. So we're going to probably cool down just a little bit, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a little bit. As far as precipitation is concerned, again, same time period, May 11th through the 15th, Sunday through Thursday, maybe a little bit more precipitation, and we could use it. We haven't had any measurable rain in a month of any kind, at least not enough to make the rain gauge up at Pangbourne pay attention to what's going on. From the National Weather Service, sunshine today, just about what we had yesterday, maybe a couple of degrees warmer, right around 74, 50 for the overnight low tonight. Close to 80 on Wednesday, and then Wednesday night, the upper level ridge is going to shift to the east, and that's going to allow a few high clouds to come in. It's also going to be a little breezy Wednesday night into Thursday, but by Thursday the wind will be gone, but it's also going to be cooler air. We're going to be about normal for afternoon high on Thursday, then right back up to the 70s to the lower 80s. This weekend is looking fantastic. And that is it for us. Have a good and safe Tuesday. We'll see you Wednesday. Bye-bye.